welcome everyone to 284 News. My name is Javon Wilson.
I'm Kamal Haynes.
And I'm Ron Grant.
And we are so thrilled and happy to be coming to you live out of the beautiful British Virgin Islands. The content continues via our website, 284media.com.
In today's news, police charge 5 in the stabbing death of Nichail Chambers.
And nearly 300 tickets issued to businesses across the BVI for COVID-19 breaches since September 2020.
Mr. Andy Bickerton, the head of the Football Association here in the BVI, speaks on the importance of grassroots football development.
And Districts 2, 4, 7, and 9 wins first playoff games of the BVI Basketball Federation's 2021 District League competition. And we also see a revised budget in the works following continued decline in revenues due to the COVID-19 pandemic. All these and more stories when 284 News returns.
You value traditions. You value music. You value education. Family.
I love you.
Service.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Love. Life. At Popular, we're committed to you and everything our community values. For the things you value the most, count on us. Popular.
Well, welcome everyone. It's Thursday, September 16th, 2021. I'm Kamal Haynes.
And I'm Ron Grant. It's a pleasure coming to you live and direct from the beautiful British Virgin Islands, from Yas Van Dyke, Virgin Gorda, Antigua, of course, the capital, Rotan Tortola. We've got you covered. Before we get into our newscast today, just touching on some headlines. Minister moves to fix the woeful Yas Van Dyke Primary School issues following protests. Of course, the residents and family and friends and students have taken quite a stance on the situation over there at the Yas Van Dyke Primary School. In addition to that, the opposition leader, the Honorable Marlon A. Penn, says he is ready for premiership. In addition to that, Virgin Gordian Miss Alida George has been admitted to the BVI bar, and government is awaiting approval to vaccinate children ages 2 to 12. I know that is of great conversation. That says the Honorable Health Minister, Mr. Carvin Malone. Beginning at our local scene yesterday, Wednesday, September 15th, police charged 5 inmates in relation to May's stabbing at Her Majesty's prison that resulted in the death of Nichail Chambers. Chambers, whose photos is being shown. Investigations conducted by officers of the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force Major Crime Team led to the arrest of Andreas Norford, Isardo Jefferson, Rion J. Christopher, Dijon Hodge, and Kareem Durant. All 5 were charged with the murder of Chambers, only 3 being shown on the screen. Additionally, Norford and Jefferson were charged with attempted murder in relation to injuries sustained to another inmate. All 5 will remain at the prison and will appear before the magistrate's court at a future date. Chambers, 29, were among 4 that sustained injuries in an altercation on the evening of May 30th at the prison. The 4 were treated at the Dr. D. Orlando Smith Hospital. However, Chambers subsequently died. Now, yesterday's arrest, viewers, indicated the force's response for serious crime to justice. The Major Crime Team continues to ask persons with information relating to this incident to come forward. All information will be treated, they say, in the strictest of confidence. Kamal, before we continue, I think this particular incident, of course, really caught the territory by surprise. The Her Majesty's prison has been one that has been undergoing reform and work for a number of years, and we have recently received a new director of Her Majesty's prison, and I think the ability for the force to be able to just zero in on crimes that are happening at the prison. Of course, we have a number of issues, inmates taking photos. It seems to be somewhat different of what the public's perception is of a prison. And I know the governor, in his remarks, the most recent incident, really spoke up about the incidents that are undertaking at the prison. And I do wish all concerned, I wish the administration and the directorship of the prison the very best as they really continue to navigate through the state-owned prison and really make sure that it's the safest for all concerned.
Indeed, and obviously it's also good news from the end of it shows that the investigations would have resulted in some sort of success until proven guilty in terms of at least holding these 5 persons accountable for that very horrid incident.
And of course, closure for the family of Mr. Chambers.
Yes, indeed. Well, moving on, viewers. Well, since the Social Distancing Task Force was established approximately 1 year ago, the unit has issued nearly 300 tickets to various businesses and entertainment entities across the territory. Well, this is according to the Chief Environmental Health Officer, Lionel Michael, who made a disclosure during a recent interview with 284 News. Well, of the nearly 300 tickets issued for COVID-19 breaches, Michael said the majority were handed out on Tortola and Antigua. Well, he also revealed that the most common breaches observed were for the failure to wear a mask or improper mask wearing, and for failure to execute proper physical distancing measures.
We have issued to date, Mr. 284 News, some 280 tickets for mask, physical distancing, and hand hygiene throughout the territory since we started. Almost 300 tickets. All right? The most violated measure is the mask and social distancing. Those are the two most violated measures. And so, people have to wear good quality mask that fit properly over their mouth and nose, because the kind of mask that some people are wearing, it is contributed to the spread of COVID-19. We have been ticketing other business places. We have been ticketing superettes, offices, restaurants, throughout the territory. We have done it in Antigua and Tortola mainly. These two offshore, these two main islands. We have done it in Virgin. We have done it in Virgin Garden for some time now, but we have issued tickets in Virgin Garden in the past, early in the year and last year. We haven't issued any ticket in Just Van Dyke as yet. Yeah, we issued one ticket in Just Van Dyke sometime last year.
Well, the environmental health expert also made a special appeal to bar owners across the territory, urging them to continue to enforce the respective COVID-19 protocols on all patrons.
The message out there to be sent is that bars and other places, but particularly bars now, because we're talking about bars, bar owners, bar managers must take aggressive measures to ensure that their customers, their patrons, their staff adhere to the government COVID-19 protocol, COVID-19 control and suppression measures, to include hand hygiene, either hand washing basins equipped with the 5 elements of washing hands, or hand sanitizer equipped with 60% alcohol or more, markers for social distancing, adhere to the government gathering number of 50. If a place cannot hold 50, do not put 50 in there. You need markers, you need the place to be demarcated to ensure that the social distancing measures can be practiced.
Well, Mr. Michael also reminded bar owners of the measures regarding the grouping of persons while utilizing a bar, and also appealed to these owners to be cautious of the loud volume levels when playing music. Well, he said loud music when played in bars encourages shouting and results in persons breaching the 6 feet social distancing protocol when communicating.
For the patrons, when they go to a bar, when they meet at a bar in groups, they need to stay in their group and not wander about the bar and wear their mask, because they do not come from the same house. They only meet at the bar. Bar owners have this responsibility to ensure that the place is not a place that would contribute to COVID, for the spread of COVID-19. Because the activities in bars and some business places right now are conducive to the spread of COVID-19. And we have to be very careful that if we do not adhere to these measures and practices, that we're going to be in this pandemic for a long time in the BVI. When they play music, whether by DJ or by other means, the music must be kept at a manageable level so that people can have a conversation and to avoid shouting. It is the shouting that is contributing to the spread of COVID-19 in these confined spaces like a bar.
Well, viewers, just last weekend, the task force issued fines of $1,000 each to 2 bars located on Tortola after it was observed by members of the task force that the bars were in breach of the COVID-19 protocols.
Kamal, I want to speak on this issue because I think it's important that we continue to support all persons concerned. I totally agree in some instances with the environmental health expert, Mr. Michael, but I do want us to be realistic and understand that there are certain habits, there are certain functions that would go along with a bar. So take, for example, just hypothetically, the issue of playing loud music. I can't necessarily pinpoint a single bar that you would go to in the territory, across the region, or anywhere for that matter, where loud music will not be played. It's entertainment, mixed, of course, with the sale of food and alcohol. What I want persons to understand, particularly the Director of Environmental Health and the government of the Virgin Islands, is that many of the persons who own bars and restaurants, either or nightclubs, are persons that have legitimate business, and this is the way that they provide for their families. So I want us to be able to come to a point in our territory as it pertains to COVID-19 and the protocols where we're understanding that these are legitimate businesses, just like anywhere else, churches. I'm wondering to myself almost if persons like Mr. Michael would go to the churches while people are worshiping and tell them that they're playing worship music too loud, or persons are worshiping and praying and collaborating together too closely. What I'm saying is what's good for one is good for the other, and we have to understand that at the end of the day, these are persons who have legitimate businesses and they are doing a legal service in providing for themselves and their families. I just want us to come to that common ground.
Well, while you made that comment, I actually do understand your point very vividly. I also do understand the point there of the Chief Environmental Health Officer. What he was basically alluding to is that as opposed to a church, which is a very big open space, and bars usually is a more close-knit setting, especially when you're amongst friends and stuff. And obviously, I guess we are in COVID times, which require new measures, adjustable measures, at least at the moment,
right,
in terms of maybe just saying, if you're accustomed playing the music at 100, let's play at 80 instead.
Fair enough.
So I understand his point, because when we are at bars and the music is playing loud, you find yourself coming closer to the person. You obviously
just to try to hear,
speaking to them, and obviously your saliva, etc., can then leave the mouth and then go on the surface of other persons. So I totally understand the both worlds, and I hopefully we could find a compromise. Yes,
I agree. Our viewers, up next, districts 2, 4, 7, and 9 wins first playoff games of the BVI Basketball Federation's 2021 District League competition, and the one and only Federation Football Federation Association President, Mr. Andy Bickerton, speaks on the remarkable importance of grassroots football development. All this and so much more afterward from our sponsors. You're watching 284 News.
Well, welcome back, viewers. Well, the BVI Basketball Federation's 2021 District League competition kicked off its playoff stage last weekend, with teams from Districts 2, 4, 7, and 9 winning their first playoff games, while competing on the opening night of Saturday, September 11th was VG Bayside Blazers of the 9th District, who defeated Filipinas by 18 points. But the Blazers entered the playoff undefeated and continued that winning streak in style, leading at the end of each quarter 19-9, 48-26, 73-54 to eventually win 92-74. Before the Blazers, Jolene Wilson collected a double-double with a game-high 22 points and 10 rebounds, which also included 1 steal and 2 assists. While his teammate Stefano Paul also enjoyed a double-double as he registered on all stats, finishing with 17 points, 12 rebounds, 1 block, 2 steals, and 2 assists. For the Filipinas, who also are from District 3, Louis Poblet enjoyed a team-high 18 points, while his colleague Delbert Samuel collected a double-double, which included 12 points and 12 rebounds. Meanwhile, in the second men's game of the night, A's representing District 4, which saw 5 of their players getting into double-double figures, defeated District 5 skillful ballers by 19 points, winning that game 94-75. While Javon Demings led for A's with a game-high 26 points, which included 7 rebounds, 4 steals, and 2 assists, while his teammate Noah McKelly tallied 16 points, 5 rebounds, 7 steals, and 3 assists. With their colleagues Joanne Richards, Shaquem Blackmore, and Asim Beezer all collected 14 points apiece. Now fast forward to the second day of the men's opening playoff on Sunday, September 12th. In the first fixture, Mega Mix of the 2nd District came from behind after being down by 3 points at a half, 46-49, to defeat Zone 6 of the 6th District by 11 points to win 68-57. While both Doron and Tavon Phillip of Mega Mix collected double-doubles, with Doron copying a game-high 22 points with 11 rebounds, while Tavon finished with 20 points and 11 rebounds. But for Zone 6, Malachi Payne had a team-high 17 points, while his teammate Mikey Joseph collected 10 points. While we take a peek at those highlights, with Mega Mix in front in the 4th quarter by some 3 points.
Malachi is seeking what to do. Passing in, Mikey goes up, gets it in, good for 2. Quan still dribbling screen. Quan with it, pass to Trent. Trent goes up. Trent gets it in, good for 2. Quan with it. Eton defense. Quan trying to get wrong, pass it to Trent. Trent with a reverse. Dribbling. Ball movement wrong and wrong. Goes up, good for 2. Just big in there, finds far right. Far right now pushing it, seeking a help. Finds Speedy. Speedy to the hole. Blocked by All-American. Zan goes up, he gets it in, good for 2. Puts the score on 50-59. Yeah, ball over. All-American for 3. Whoosh! Tell the man, come. That was Zan. He now dish over to Jason. Jason now seeking what to do. Screen by Boss. Jason gets through 2. Goes up. And 1. Away. About to be less than 4 minutes. We're here in the 4th quarter. Speedy with it. Finds Ita. Ita spin off for Steve. Ita. Yeah. Gets it in good for 2. Quan trying to get to Speedy. Goes up, gets it in good for 2, strong. Quan dribbling. Pass it in to Drew. Drew pass to All-American. All-American throws it up. Drew back up, gets it in good for 2. There we go, Carl, it's a 90 now. Ball movement, All-American over to Quan. Quan dribbling, pass to the run. Go up and power with 3. No good, ball gets the rebound. And that is the end of the game with a score being 68-59.
Well, entertaining indeed. Well, viewers, in the final games of the night, East Rockers 2.0 of District 7 after a rocky start pulled off an impressive performance to defeat Guns of the 1st District by a massive 26-point margin. While the East trailed at the end of the first quarter 17-21 and bounced back to finish the half leading by 9 points, 52-43. where they carried that momentum, which saw 5 of their players scoring in double figures and finished the third quarter leading 83-58 before comprehensively winning the game 103-77. Viewers, we will be bringing those highlights for this game in tomorrow's newscast, which will also have more details on that stats. But meanwhile, in the junior games of the playoffs on Saturday, Zone 6 Bay Youth defeated 3D's Big Dogs by 7 points to win 90-83. For the Zone Bay Youth, KC Channer had a team-high 21 points, while Khalik Maduro and Alonzo Baptiste scored 18 and 16 points respectively. For the Big Dogs, Kaimal Poncho and Stefan De Leon, both tallied double-doubles, with Poncho recording a game-high 24 points with 15 rebounds and De Leon 22 points with 10 rebounds. The Sunday game saw Junior East Rockers defeating Junior Mega Mits 86-73, despite a solid effort from Mega Mits' Vern Fred, who collected a 40-high double-double, which included 10 rebounds, 9 steals, and 2 assists. For East Rockers, Zachary Luke collected an impressive double-double with 23 points and 20 assists, while his teammate Deshaun Doyley also impressed with 20 points and 17 rebounds. Ron, those are some very impressive games in the opening over the last weekend, and we'll have games continue over the week, with games on Wednesday, and also games tomorrow Friday and Saturday as well.
Indeed, and we encourage the general public to support the various districts. It is beautiful to see the various districts compete against each other in a wholesome sporting event. On the issue and topic of sports, although a lot of attention and focus from the Football Association rightly is aimed at national teams development, the grassroots levels are never forgotten and indeed will be back a center stage in a few short weeks. The Football Association After School program has already been up and running on a regular basis, and by the middle of October, the much awaited and ever popular BDO Schools League will be starting. In a comment, officials said, "What a lot of people don't realize," commented FA President Mr. Andy Bickerton, "is that even though we have to prepare teams for CONCACAF Nationals League and World Cup qualifiers, we are constantly looking to improve professionalism of all our programs so that we develop players who are ready to represent the territory." At a recent training camp held at Millfield School in England, Bickerton was quick to point out that 10 of the 18 players on show had come through the Football Association's school program and were not only able to take advantage of the elite level coaching at top of the range facilities, but also grasp an opportunity to further their education with the links established by the FA via scholarship programs in both the UK and the USA. He said, and I quote, "It's not like track and field where you could have 2 or 3 individuals that do really, really well. We actually have to develop a squad between 18 to 26 players who we've got to keep developing young players," stated Bickerton. Obviously, with students going back to face-to-face learning and schools reopening, the school program will be up and running very shortly, and that will be another bonus for the FA in the process. Absolutely, he said, that's ground zero for us. That's where we started. Yes, we look for talent with the program, but it is far from an elite program. In fact, it is open to every youth who wants to play football, boy or girl. The chance to play football at the entry level is part of the FA's commitment to providing exercise and a healthy lifestyle for youngsters, keeping them, of course, off the streets and creating a way of reversing medical conditions such as obesity and diabetes that plague the territory. Football, he said, is a healthy option for youths, and whether they have the talent or for the game or not, they can learn to enjoy themselves in a safe and fun environment. He also noted it is a win-win for them and a win-win for us as we get to spot talented individuals and then, of course, let them see themselves for the opportunities that they can open through hard work and dedication. Now, viewers, apart from the chance to play for the territory in Caribbean and worldwide tournaments at the recent games and across the world, they have taken place in Guatemala and Curacao. There is also links to further education and scholarships. He said, "We are now getting more and more of our young players on scholarships, and following meetings with the BVI government, I have got them to one scholarship this year for one of our players, which is a recognition of what we're doing." He said, of course, all this development at the grassroots level would not have been possible for born so much fruit if it had not been for the support of longtime sponsors, BDO, the community-based corporate body. He said, and I quote, "If you think that they've been supporting the program for 9 years and the amount of money that they have invested into the program, compared, of course, to the amount of youths who have benefited overall and the amount of players that have reached national team levels, then you must be very happy. And I know they use this in their advertising material," beamed Bickerton. "They are community-based, and I think that's exactly the kind of thing corporate bodies within the BVI should be doing, finding a niche and investing in our youths." Now, the 10th BDO Scholarship League for high schoolers and primary schoolers is tentatively set for the 11th of October 2020. Kamal, while we were in lockdown, and of course, there were many aspects that our youths did not were not able to engage in, like after-school tutorials, we had dance recitals, but most importantly, when we look at this in perspective, the sporting arena has significantly suffered because of COVID-19, and like Mr. Bickerton, I think we should be happy that our students are being able to come back out on the fields, whether it be football, tennis, track and field, to be able to express themselves, and of course, this allows them to be gainfully occupied, and like he said, helps us with combating a lot of the territory's medical ills that we may face.
I totally agree. And football, obviously, the sport in the territory have been making a lot of strides regionally, despite the fact that we are disadvantaged when it comes to resources and in comparison to the other international teams as well. And Mr. Bickerton obviously is doing his best, managing whatever resources he have to help push the sport in the territory. And as I said, Mr. Bickerton, he loves the sport. He loves his job. And he's putting the athletes first, and trying to do as much as he can to push the sport in the territory.
I know, Kamal, that you are a sports fanatic, but while you were in school, was there any particular sport that you played that you gravitated to within the primary or secondary level?
Well, of all sports, cricket was my most
nice.
my best sport in
Awesome.
terms of my ability to play, as well as my understanding and the love, to gravitate towards the international players or the West Indies players that we have in the region, followed by football and then basketball. Well, viewers, we have a little time left, but before we get to our final story, which will be the Antigua and Barbuda releases new policy on COVID-19 mandatory vaccines for Antigua, which will affect all civil servants. We will get to this story after a quick commercial break.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media at cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works. Viewers, welcome back. Thank you so much for sticking with us. We're panning across over to Antigua and Barbuda, where the government of Antigua has moved to implement a new policy on COVID-19, and that means mandatory vaccines for Antiguans, particularly civil servants. They will not be paid if they do not comply. Now, the cabinet of Antigua and Barbuda has, on the announcement of the new policy on the management of COVID-19, said, and I quote, "Recognize the extreme hardships caused by the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, along with the and anguish of families due to the untimely and unnecessary loss of loved ones, and that it has caused tremendous economic dislocations, social disruptions, and psychological traumas." Now, the government also acknowledged that the enormous commitment and sacrifices made by extension by the nation's healthcare professionals, and by extension all workers who lock arms daily in colossal efforts and determination to defeat the COVID-19 virus. Essentially, Kamal, we're not going to get enough time to go through the story, but Antigua and Barbuda has moved to mandate mandatory vaccines, particularly when it comes to civil servants. They're saying civil servants essentially don't have an option. If they do not get the vaccine, they will not be paid. And I'm not surprised, because I think over the course of the trajectory of COVID-19, we've seen where regions have moved to do what is best for them, but it's really calling for a certain level of desperation in some instances. And while persons are pro-choice, pro-vaccine, I think this is a prime example of a government moving forward to do what they think is best. While many persons may not agree, this is the action by the Antigua and Barbuda government to make vaccinations mandatory. And of course, viewers, we have more for this story. It's on our website, so because we didn't get to the details of it, you can visit us on the website. Of course, we will be back tomorrow giving you your daily dose of local, regional, and international content. I'm Ron Grant. It's always a pleasure. Have a happy and beautiful Thursday.
And I'm Kamal Haynes. Thank you for joining us.
Bye-bye.